Hey, this is Terry Funk, and this is the Awesome Wrestling Show. You guys tune in, listen, pay attention.
Produced by the Cleveland Sound Radio Network, here is the This Is Awesome Wrestling Show, hosted by Glenn Moore and Steve Guy.
This is Awesome Wrestling Show. This is AwesomeWrestlingShow.com, episode number 85. Before we get into it, want to have everybody subscribe to us on iTunes, leave a comment, rate us. We really appreciate it. Links are on our website. This is AwesomeWrestlingShow.com. Also, we're on Android, we're on Libsyn, we're on Stitcher. Anywhere you listen to your podcast, we are on there. So if you leave a subscription to us, we would really appreciate it. But also leave a comment and leave a rating. Takes 2 seconds to leave a rating or subscribe. Hit that button, and we would greatly, greatly appreciate. So episode number 85, episode number Kevin Johnson, former Browns receiver, dedicated to him.
Man, shout out to KJ.
Anybody outside the Cleveland area probably has no clue who Kevin Johnson is. But
who is, to you, the better Kevin Johnson in Cleveland sports history?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
I would say for his time here in Cleveland, I have to go Kevin Johnson, the football player.
That's what I was thinking. Overall, overall career as a pro, it's basketball KJ.
If you become a mayor of a major city,
well, that too,
by default. So
yes, but he had some great seasons there with the Phoenix Suns and Charles Barkley out west.
Definitely. So I would take Kevin Johnson because he was a legitimate receiver for the Browns, led the Browns lack now, and he caught the Hail Mary pass to get the Browns' first win. That's
right.
In their new regime that has been diddly-poo since 1999.
In New Orleans.
Speaking of 99, this is a bad segue into a death, but it's this week marks 17 years since Owen Hart tragically passed away in the ring at a WWE event. I was a sophomore in high school, and it was on a Sunday. It was for a pay-per-view, and I'm sure we talked about this last year because this is every year thing. We got to recognize Owen Hart, but we made Owen Hart armbands with the OH on it.
Yeah, and
we wore them the whole day at school. And it was just a simple piece of paper wrapped around our arm with OH darkened in honor of Owen Hart the following Monday. So that was it. I wasn't watching the pay-per-view live because back then you had to pay, $40 for a pay-per-view. But I remember the next, reading the dirt sheets that night, logging on to America Online, a dial-up, reading what happened, and then the following day talking about it with classmates. It was hard to swallow, man. I
was watching it live.
Oh, wow.
Yep. I was watching it. They were showing the montage, the video package before the match, and then they came back, and it was just on JR and Jerry Lawler, and JR had to describe how something serious had happened, and it was tragic, and they not once were they putting the cameras anywhere near Owen Hart or whatever was going on. It just focused on them the entire time, and they had to sit there and talk and kind of carry it, and it was very
eerie.
It was, and later on in that show, Jim Ross had to tell everybody that Owen Hart had passed away and give everybody the update.
It was very, watching the footage even after, because what would happen is my buddy would get every single pay-per-view. He was the rich kid's house.
Yeah.
But he'd watch and then he would tape it, and then hand me off the tape at school. I would watch it Monday when I got home from school before Raw happened. So watching, Jerry Lawler, it's very serious, almost in tears, and then obviously Jim Ross, and even now after the fact, you watch. I think the match after featured Deborah and Jeff Jarrett, who were in a tag team with Owen Hart previously, and they're really close to Owen Hart. Obviously very, very shook up coming out to the ring. And you see that now as an adult, and it's hard to watch on the network because of what you know now. It was hard. And you want to feel old, Steve? You want to feel old? Kids, some teenagers driving around, licensed drivers, were not even alive when this happened.
Yeah, I was a freshman in high school. I watched it.
I feel old.
One of my best friends at the time was Rick Manning's son, and we watched it there at his house. And I remember Rick come by. I think we were in the basement watching it, and he just happened to see what was going on, checking it out at that moment to make fun of us for watching wrestling. And he's like, "What happened? Like, this guy fell. This guy, Owen Hart, he fell down." It's like, "What?" And then all of us thinking, "Okay, well, this is wrestling. Is this part of it?
Yeah.
Is this what's happening?" And then, when JR comes on and says he dies, you're like, they're not gonna go that far.
Yeah.
There's no way you're gonna go that far to push some sort of storyline.
Yeah. And then it was all, legitimate news sources are reporting it. And
yeah.
It was in the newspaper.
Even then, some of the news outlets were kind of questioning it at first.
I think the local, in St. Louis, because it happened in Kansas City or Kansas City, I think.
One of the two, I think.
I think it happened in Kansas City. I'm not sure. Either Kansas City or St. Louis, but the news outlets, were reporting that he has passed away. So reading that in school the next day before it happened, for Raw happened that night, you read about it and you like, oh, is it fake? But you had, the inkling that, okay, it was true. Then news outlets reporting it, then you definitely knew it was true. It was in Kansas City.
It makes me worried to this day every time something happens and they only focus on the announcers, and you could see the look on the announcer's face, and you can kind of see where their eyes are as they're watching somebody get taken care of. Like, I even go back to Enzo when he got taken out at Payback, and he's down, and they wouldn't put the cameras over on him.
Yeah,
it's like I always flash back to that. There's always that brief moment, like, wow, is this one of the worst case scenarios that something happened? Just wait for them to. You watch these guys and you're a fan of them. You want them to be healthy.
Yeah.
And it's like, there's a part of me that just waits for, like, all right, just show them on camera so we know everything's going to be okay here.
I have a morbid curiosity that I enjoy watching stuff like that. I would.
Can you imagine being in that audience, though, and he just...
Oh, man, I can't. Watching that live, something like that happening. I'm not sure if were the lights on at the time because they're showing a promo that there was no TVs there. There wasn't a Titantron there.
There was. They had a Titantron at that time.
Was it?
Yeah, it was like that first edition
like
that
next to the opening, kind of a small kind of.
It was like the one where somebody eventually like puts the tear in it. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't think it was that. I don't think it was that big. I think it was one that it was one of those small entrances that had people sitting behind.
I don't know, because 99 was kind of like the beginning of that whole, like, I mean, you think about it, we're in the Attitude Era at that point.
Yeah.
So like 97, 98, 99 was like all the beginning of that Titantron, really, the big one with the rails on either side.
Trying to get a quick photo here.
It's the one where like the old Raw logo and it says Raw inside of it.
All right, we did our research really quick, and that split second we took a break. So they did have a screen above the entranceway, and the reason why, the point is, I think the people were focused. It was in between matches. People were focused on what was going on the screen because they show promotional stuff in between matches. They darken the arena most of the time. So it's not like people had fully attention on the ring. So I'm sure a lot of people saw it, but it wasn't like that was beginning of Hart's descent from the Raptors if it went the way it was supposed to go. But after that, Sting stopped doing it. Because Sting was really big in WCW coming from
he was coming
from the Raptors. So they stopped doing it, and no one has done it. I don't think in any wrestling promotion in America since then.
I can't think of anybody, really. I mean, remember Shawn Michaels did that for one WrestleMania, but that was before that even. So
yeah, that was way before.
When he came ziplining down.
Yeah, but so Yeah, 17 years yesterday on the 23rd. 17 years to in the same week that Owen Hart passed away, and it's tragically because Owen Hart was the first wrestling figure I ever had in my life.
Wow.
It was him and Captain
Lou Albano?
Yes, it was him and Owen Hart. And on those two, and they had wrestling matches, Owen Hart versus him. It was great. But Owen Hart, 17 years. Can't believe time is going by so quick. All right, let's get into some of the big news surrounding the world of professional wrestling. First up, and this is going to bring a whole worms of a discussion, a whole can open a worm. What's the saying?
Open up a can of worms?
Box of worms?
Can of worms.
Can of worms. Can of corn. For Cody Rhodes asking for his release, getting his release, but in the process screwing himself over for saying what was on his mind, but WWE is going to have the last laugh when it comes to the creative control of Cody Rhodes and his future in wrestling, at least for the time being. Cody posted a lengthy tweet post.
Yeah, I guess it was. Yeah, kept tweeting it. Yeah,
it was screen capture of a press release, so to speak. Basically, ripping on a couple of writers that we will not name on the show because we know one personally, and saying that he was never given fully a chance, and there's some heat there. But hey, kudos to Cody Rhodes. If you want to read it, it's all over the dirt sheets. But kudos to Cody for probably saying what maybe half the roster wants to say, but is too scared to leave and too scared to speak up because of burning that bridge of WWE.
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely agree. I've said it multiple times on this show that I've always been a fan of Stardust and Cody Rhodes, and I've always wished that there would be more because he was a guy that I thought was talented and underutilized. But like you said, this is something that we've heard. We've heard a lot of guys say stuff kind of quietly as they've exited, or put out a tweet where it's like, it's up for you to decipher. And kudos to Cody for coming right out and saying it. But you talk about burning the bridges, but based upon what he said, he strikes me as the kind of guy where that doesn't matter to him because he didn't have any intention of coming back anyway. If he's going to come back, I don't think the burning of bridges matters because I think the only way he comes back is if things drastically change.
Yeah, it would change, and I'm sure that won't happen for a while. But hey, we talked about it before with Sandow and Wade Barrett and guys. They see what's going on in the indie scene. They see that, okay, there isn't a big alternate other than WWE to go to wrestle.
Right.
TNA has their own problems. Who knows if they're going to be around within the next couple of years. It probably will, but it's not going to be anything WWE. New Japan is hot. Ring of Honor is hot with the indie scene. Evolve has their relationship with WWE, but the indie scene is a place for wrestlers that want to be featured to go make money, make really good money, not WWE money, but be able to live and be living comfortably and still be treated like kings and go. And, okay, I'm not being used on WWE television. So what? I want my release or don't re-sign me, and I'm going to go to New Japan or hit the indie scene and ask for money, and then make a killing off T-shirts in the indie scene, and live comfortably and do whatever they want. They're their own boss, their own brand. So I think now in the day and age that we have now, these guys who are sitting on the sidelines in WWE have the balls to leave and do their own thing and can thrive, and they're not going to end up broke and begging for WWE for a job again.
Yeah, he alluded to at the end to maybe a couple things going on potentially outside of the world of wrestling. So hopefully that is the case and things work out for him. He's probably the most vocal about the issues and concerns he has had probably since CM Punk, wouldn't you say? Now, I know Ryback just put his thing out there, but I think that Cody's was more specific to what was going on, and Ryback still kind of danced around things. He talked about the difference in pay, but it's like Ryback tried to say it in a manner that was still somewhat political. And his came off, as we've talked on the show, more about pushing a contract issue and dispute. Whereas Cody came flat out and was like, you know what, man, fuck this. I don't need this.
Well, the reason, okay, Wade Barrett and Sandow, I know Sandow's doing indie appearances already. Hornswoggle is too, obviously coming here to Cleveland. But with Cody Rhodes, he spilled some internal dirt about a couple of writers that he probably could have gotten away not saying. He could have made his point that creative is not helping their characters and, looking at a blank, not turned on laptop. I get that. But spilling some internal dirt and releasing it to the masses, and you can kind of get an inkling of who he was talking about if you know who the head writers are for each one and who has connection to NXT. That's what's going to get Cody. That's what Cody's in with a little bit of heat, because he kind of broke that unwritten rule, is that, okay, WWE is a brotherhood. You don't spill internal dirt like that. And especially, I think, petty stuff that really doesn't have a factor on booking and your character and selling T-shirts and getting over. It doesn't. That has nothing to do with anything.
Sure, but for all we know, it very well may. It obviously has a little bit to do with booking. If it's guys who are creating stories and writing, and they're the head writers and they're the ones creating the main storylines, right? But then I kind of liken it to the situation of, think back to Bill DeMott. There were tons of whispers and tons of people who were like, I wasn't really happy at the training facility and I didn't like this or that. And it took a long time until people were finally really saying things where you were able to pinpoint, okay, this is Bill DeMott they're talking about. Just a generic saying of something isn't going to create change. That's why what he did took a lot more balls, because maybe he's not the only guy who thought this. I mean, Wade Barrett himself said kudos to Cody Rhodes. He tweets that out. So clearly there are other people having these issues, and it just like we saw that last time in the WWE with Bill DeMott, it took somebody to initially say, hey, here's who it is, figure it out without me saying a name, but I'm going to tell you everything you need in terms of anything you need to know aside from a name, and everybody figured it out from there, and then stuff started to come out. So if a change needs to be made, unfortunately in WWE it seems like that's the way you have to go about doing it, and this will either it will happen, or Cody's kind of off his rocker, and you're right, just nitpicking. I think time will tell.
But what does hitting on divas have to do with anything with your character? Why does saying that help anybody?
In reading
wrestlers hit on wrestlers. I know wrestlers who are banging WrestleMania weekend. They're all banging each other, all hitting on each other. That's not like out of the norm. I don't really.
In reading what he wrote, I think his point is that their concerns were elsewhere. Like somebody wanted to be a main writer just to be hitting on these women and didn't necessarily care about the entire quality of the product.
But the buck
he was there for different reasons.
The buck stops for Vince. Vince is the man. Vince is the guy that everything goes through. Everything is filtered through. So going to a writer and begging and saying we should do this is the wrong way to go. If you read Jericho's books, Mick Foley, Rock, all these guys, Stone Cold, you talk about, I went to Vince and pitched this idea, and he's like, I never thought of that. I like it, and it turned out to be great. It's never like, I went to so-and-so with creative, and we pitched this idea. Then that guy went to Vince. It was always going to Vince directly. So if you had an idea, you would go to Vince. You don't go to one of the 100 members of creative. You go to Vince. So Vince is ultimately the guy that, maybe if you have a beef, you're going to be spilling dirt, Vince is a guy probably you should be maybe saying something about, not some Joe Schmo writer guy that is hitting on divas or not paying attention to what you're saying. Maybe his ideas, maybe Cody's ideas weren't good. I mean, we don't know. But Vince is the the monster. He is the guy that you go to if you want to get on TV, have an idea. You go to Vince. That's like the New Day. The New Day never saw Vince until they had an idea, went to Vince, and Vince liked it, and gave him the opportunity to do what they want to do. And look at the New Day; they're the hottest thing going, and making money over fists with their T-shirts, T-shirt sales and all their gimmicky stuff. So you got to go to Vince. You don't go to creative guy. You go to Vince. So
yeah, I mean, I understand. I mean, you look at as I look at his statement now. The one thing he does say is that for a decade I tried to convince both Vince and Triple H that I could be their star player, their varsity quarterback, if you will. But it seems we've reached a point where neither saw that in me. So yeah, I mean, to your point, look, you went to them at some point. It would sound like, and so whether they said, "Hey, go take that up, run that idea by somebody else first," I don't know. But they clearly did not see, like you said, they didn't see something in him.
But really, it's and all these all these people who complain about guys not getting pushes and not getting the championship, or guys losing, back-to-back nights. Like, people complain about the littlest things. Somebody has to win and somebody has to lose. Somebody has to be champion. Somebody has to be on TV. It's not an 8-hour show. Not everybody can be featured. All these guys are talented.
Right.
They're talented wrestlers. We're not taking away from the talent. But geez, you either have it or you don't. You're either over with the crowd or you're not over. You're either selling T-shirts, selling merch, or you're not. And if you're not selling T-shirts, you're not getting over with the crowd on a long, term basis. They're not going to put you on TV. Like that's just WWE 101. And it's people want to compare it to indies and say I'm an indie fan. Okay, indie wrestling is totally different than WWE. WWE is in their own ballpark when it comes to professional wrestling, sports entertainment. People don't get that, and we want to cheer for Sandow when he comes on TV. Okay, but when he's on TV, when Sandow was Damian Sandow, he would get a pop for the week when we see him. But then if he's on TV 4 or 5 weeks in a row, it fizzles out. There's no long-term sustainability when it comes to fan reactions, and that's why these guys aren't getting long-term pushes or any kind of TV play, is because they're not getting any kind of long-term love from the fans. It's always, hey, yay, Damian Sandler's on TV. But he's on TV for 4 or 5 weeks in a row, and then it's just another guy.
Yeah, but there's also plenty of examples of guys that were getting plenty of reaction, and you never saw them in
like who?
Well, Ziggler for 2-3 year stretch was getting tons of pops and getting a huge reaction. Even to this day, he's getting a solid. Well, yeah, yes, he's on television, and I get that.
He won Survivor Series.
Okay, and then he won the IC title, and then was kind of at the very bottom again. And he was super hot. People were still loving him at that point. He was getting tons of pops. He was super over with the crowd. So that's a great example. The Miz is a guy who has gotten booed solidly. So for him, he's a heel, right? That's getting over. He has been nothing but booed for, I couldn't tell you, the longest time. And we've watched him not be consistent. We've watched his storylines not be constant. So there are examples of both sides. I understand what you're saying. And I agree with you in these fans who, as soon as these guys go away, they're like, oh, I can't believe like this, I can't believe this, because I do agree with you that there are plenty of people they overreact about. But I can't sit here and I think it would also be wrong to sit here and say that, that never happens, because it certainly does. We have seen, those are just two examples off the top of my head of people who have constantly gotten crowd reaction and been over with the audience and still have not gotten larger pushes in the last 5 years, despite being super over with the crowd. Yeah, you win Survivor Series, but you're on John Cena's team doing it, and then our next rest of this is, well, now it's back to the John Cena storyline from that.
Yeah, but he's it's like it's been the repeat over with Ziggler since day one. He is the show off, and that's that character. I think it's stale. What can you do with that in a storyline if his character is stale. Yeah, he's over with the crowd, so to speak. He gets a decent pop when he comes out, but I mean, he's not a superstar. He's not a main event guy, and his problem is he makes other people look good. So he's used to make other people look good.
Well, and that's where
that's a bad quality to have in wrestling. You got to be selfish a little bit and look out for yourself. You can't make everybody else look good because then they'll use you in that way.
Well, and that's where it goes with him. Is it comes back to he makes everybody else look good with the things he's able to do.
Yeah.
But that goes back to kind of the storylining, whether it's Vince, Triple H, or whoever else the writers are. And, well, we need somebody to make this guy look good, so let's use Ziggler for that, as opposed to let's put Ziggler in this great match. I mean, you can't.
Yeah, he does have great matches. He's above average worker.
No, but I mean, not in a championship picture, so to speak.
But there's like too many guys for a championship. You look at guys, and then that's the way they rate them is okay, mid card. Up on the upper card, and to get from that mid card to upper card, you got to do some drastic things.
Where's Cesaro been? I mean, for the last 2-3 years, Cesaro has been getting over with the crowd.
He has no personality. He is not a guy that you can be a main event. Now he's coming out to being Bond.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think is the stupidest thing in the world.
I don't like that gimmick, but
what?
But the crowd loves him. Crowd loves getting behind him. They absolutely do. He has a Cesaro section.
Doesn't make you main event though. That doesn't put you in the main event. You got to draw. You got to like sell T-shirts too.
The Authority doesn't sell T-shirts. I mean, we talk about stale.
But that's Vince,
you know what I mean?
And Stephanie. They're always going to be the main storyline no matter what.
I understand, but it's not. It's never one or the other. It's both with them. Yeah. And so I understand where Cody Rhodes is coming from. I get it. It's never going to be there's never going to be a black and white. We can't sit here and argue and say like, oh well, it's because you have to. These guys aren't getting pushed. They're not getting over with the fans. They're not doing this. They're not selling merch or whatever. Well, there's examples of guys who have done that and they still haven't gotten that place.
Well,
and then there's examples of guys who haven't, and rightfully so. Look, they walk out and then stupidly so, fans are like, well, they should have used them better. And it's like, well, you weren't behind them when they were trying to use them.
Zack Ryder is a guy that was way over, got himself over.
Got himself over, yeah.
And, with his own YouTube show, and the fans loved him. When he won the IC title, it was a culmination of all that hard work at TLC back in 2011. His family, it was close to, it was in Baltimore, and it was great. And, and then he, this went away, and they just, and it's all up to Triple H and Vince. If they view you as a guy that they're not going to get behind, and there's politics that we don't know either. Everybody's playing each other.
Well, right, and that's why I'm saying we can't sit here and say that there's some formula it's A plus B plus C equals this success. Because even Zack Ryder, a great example, what's the point of having him win the IC title at WrestleMania, giving him that moment, and then taking it away from him the very next night, and you haven't even really heard from the guy since then. So you didn't even give him the opportunity to see, hey, how long can he sustain this momentum with an audience? Does it equate into merchandise sales, like you said, a great audience reaction? Does it relate to any of that? We have no idea. We never got to see it. So there is no A plus B plus C. And I think maybe that's... all I could say is, from reading from Cody, what I take away is that it's like, hey, there needs to be an A plus B plus C equals success, and this is where people are going. I think you're right. So what you just said, there are way too many unknown factors that are going into this stuff. So who knows? There's never going to be a fair system.
Yeah. I mean, guys are going to get pushed aside, no matter how talented they are, and guys who are less talented, but they sell and people like them are going to get, more of a push and then guys are going to get pushed because Vince wants them to get pushed no matter what kind of reaction they get. And if they tell teachers, that's the way it is. And there's no formula to it. And hey, if guys don't like it, they can leave.
And that's what he did, right?
They can leave. And maybe, 10 years ago, guys probably couldn't do this because the indie scene wasn't as maybe social media driven as it is now, and
Right.
You don't really, you didn't really know as much, 10, 15 years ago as you do now when it comes to, New Japan and all the rest of the indies that are, paying big money and fans are coming out to watch. Probably couldn't do it 10 years ago, but now with everything going on, they can, and they can make a comfortable living because, when the bottom line is people want to get money, and whether people say I want to be used more or whatever, bottom line is the people are going to get paid. That's why wrestlers ask for a fucking booking fee. They want to get paid ultimately, and Cody Rhodes is going to do his thing and still get hand over fist of money and still be charging $25 for a T-shirt and $10 for a photo and still be taking your money either way. But he'll just be doing a bigger scale because people are actually going to come out and see him because he's not in WWE anymore.
Yeah, he's the only one where I tend to wonder what he's going to do. I don't think that he's necessarily going to hit the independent circuit. I think he does have interests elsewhere. I mean, he's alluded to them multiple times and in there. So, and we'll see how that all works out. Look, 2 years from now, he may be in the independent circuit, but I'm saying I don't see him as a guy that's necessarily going to go do that right away. I think he's going to go on and do it. He said in the statement that he appreciated Vince and Triple H letting him learn on the job something he would have done for free. So this was he's one of those circumstances where his family is this business, and this was his passion. This is what he always wanted to do, and he's unhappy with it. I'm going to be honest, I think a lot of it probably has to do with his father passing away. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
Well, yeah, definitely. And I think we talked about WrestleMania when he wore the polka dot crap and, for his Stardust gimmick, and I'm sure WWE probably pushed that on him a little bit, and maybe that was part of the, maybe the last straw for him.
Yeah.
Because that was an era that Dusty Rhodes hated. He hated the polka dots. He hated the whole gimmick, and that's what people recognize him for that, which I get like why Tommy Dreamer wears it, and other indie people after he passed away kind of wore some polka dots to remember Dusty, but Dusty should not be remembered because of polka dots. There's a whole back history for Dusty Rhodes that is way beyond polka dots, but that's, that could be something to do with it. So, I mean, but really, who knows? But the one thing is for sure that WWE isn't happy with the statement that Cody said.
Right.
And they're going to do everything in their power, contract-wise, to keep him off the indie scene, out of TNA, Global Force Gold, anything to keep him off TV until
Global Force Gold.
They release him from the contract. So, but hey, like I said, good luck to him. Would he be a guy that I'd like to see, live in an indie show? I mean, yeah, he's talented. He's a good wrestler, but
yeah,
it's hey, if you don't like it, leave. Everyone's holding you to it. Great for him, and see how that goes for him. Adam Rose is gone. Not really shocking right there. Social Outcast made an appearance last night on Raw. Three-man band, three-man team for them. So Adam Rose gone from WWE. No surprise there. He has bigger things to worry about with his own personal life than getting back on TV for WWE. Let's talk about one person that is getting a push right off the bat. Is a Cleveland native, a woman that was making her mark, vastly approved on NXT. Last year when we saw her wrestle, making her first debut on NXT, she looked very, very green, has vastly improved, and is now in the main storyline when it comes to women's wrestling on the main roster, and that's Dana Brooke. Dana Brooke, we talked about it. Episode number, let's just say 30. Summers, go and Justin, go and look it up. I'm sure we said Dana Brooke was not a good wrestler, and she was not. And she was very green.
Yeah.
She was just starting out being on featured NXT, I think, after WrestleMania last year. And she was just very green. She was a power lifter coming from Arnold. They plucked her out because she had the look.
Did we see her at NXT in Cleveland? In that four-way, was that Dana Brooke or Alexa? I don't remember. Might have been Alexa Bliss. I think it was Alexa Bliss. It was Becky.
Dana Brooke was there.
but I don't think she was in that match. She wrestled, but she was not in that match.
Right.
And I think I remember us talking about her then and after WrestleMania and everything. But I do think the one thing that we said is you could see that there was potential there.
Oh yeah.
You know,
but she was still far away from being on the level of NXT that we were used to with Becky, Charlotte,
Sasha. Yeah.
But still, she improved, and with all the ladies coming up from NXT to the main roster, was like, where's there going to be room for the Emmas and the Dana Brooks and Bailey, all these ladies, and now you have that problem now because there's so many ladies on the main roster, not enough time. But you have now Dana Brooke made her debut attacking Becky Lynch, and now she's thrusted into with Charlotte, with with Rick, coming out looking absolutely fabulous, and the Ric Flair get up at Extreme Rules, helping Charlotte.
Did you immediately have a couple fantasies there go through your mind, Glenn, when you saw that?
No. No. Absolutely. She can do the strut all day. It was great to see her. She looks better. She's always been in great shape. But for some reason, I don't know what is about her, but I've never been into the linebacker looking girl like Natty and Beth Phoenix, but Dana Brooke has really changing my view on these women wrestlers who are jacked. You have Sasha, who is just a lengthy, not really muscular. I mean, obviously they're muscle, but not looking like a linebacker. And Becky Lynch and Charlotte, who is more tall than anything. But geez, Dana Brooke, she has like improved on the mic when she gets the mic. Improved. She's not like there yet. But she's improving, which is what you want. Dude, Asuka better watch out. Dana Brooke's catching up to him.
Oh, man. Here's a question for you. Where does this leave someone like Bayley? Because is Bayley now in the mold of a Finn Balor and somebody else where it's like, well, we don't... Yeah, she should absolutely be on the main roster, but we don't necessarily want her off of NXT because we need her. Yeah. And so all these other people who can develop elsewhere, they go there, but they still need that one person. Is Dana Brooke going to become a superstar in the women's division? I don't know, but she's at least going to be a cog within it. And, a role player within it. So now you're watching people who could become role players get pushed up. As soon as Bayley were to come up, she's right in the main picture, right? So does that kind of hurt her? Is that now she needs to help carry NXT? I mean, it's her and Asuka.
Yeah, I would say somebody has, like Finn. Finn could be on the main roster.
Right.
But NXT, I think, is depleted of not of good wrestlers, but just of stars to make me excited to go down. Like if NXT came around now in Cleveland, I wouldn't be I would go, but I wouldn't be as pumped as I was when the very first came because there was Kevin Owens and Sammy. Well, he was hurt. Then in the next round, you had Samoa Joe, and you had all these guys come and be a part of NXT. But now, we talked about in the show before, it takes a couple of years to kind of replenish that roster to make it like, whoa. I'm going to watch NXT every week and go to their shows, but somebody has to stick around. They can't just bring everybody up now.
The ladies are now becoming, as we've talked about the guys, like you just said many times in the show. Now that's kind of happening with the ladies, and you can't just leave one. Like you just said, you have Finn, but Finn's got a battle with a Samoa Joe, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, there could be other people in between, but he's got to have him. Nakamura obviously there now, but it took a few months till they brought him over. So it's like, you have Asuka, and she's doing great, and she's getting the reaction, but in the end, you also need to have a Bayley to the Asuka, where you can have those two at some point colliding. They can go off on their tangents, but it's got to come back to the two of them, right?
Yeah.
You always need that pairing, I guess, so to speak, of big names.
Yeah, and so it's just a matter of time before Bayley comes up because the main roster is where the money's at. But still, it's NXT still has to have their stars and push people and develop people and introduce people to the crowd to the crowd because. If you bring an Asuka maybe to the main roster right away, she's a big name overseas, but WB audience they target at Raw, the reaction may not be as big as they let her stay in a year and let her develop something in NXT, then coming up to the main roster. But back to Dana Brooke. I mean, Dana Brooke is, she people are saying that she's going to be pushed as big as Roman Reigns. Like they want her to be. She's going to be pushed to the mountain right off the bat, and
I can see that. She's kind of been Triple H's girl.
Yeah,
he plucked her basically from that Arnold Classic, essentially.
So she's going to get the major push. She already is, and being I like her as a heel. I like her as a condescending woman. The girl that's going to make fun of you and kick your butt. Don't see her as being a face. So if she does battle Charlotte, for a title when she turns, I see maybe Charlotte being more of the face. Maybe reuniting with Rick when Rick comes back. But hey, Dana Brooke getting some major face time, and I feel bad for Emma because she just got back main roster. She was given some time,
and that's kind of how it was supposed to work out. Was Dana Brooke and Emma, just like what they were doing at NXT?
Yeah, and now Emma's hurt. She's going to be off off the TV for a while. So hey, Dana Brooke, next one steps up, and Charlotte, there's something going on with her that no one really knows about. The injury could be a lot serious than than we know. And then obviously Becky is there, and Charlotte has the title. So and then we could talk about it a little bit, but at Money in the Bank, would not be opposed because there's a lot of great wrestlers, lady wrestlers now, to having a women's Money in the Bank ladder match. That would be terrific. I think
we've yet to see a women's ladder match.
I think we have yet to see anything outside of a Divas pillow fight battle royal
in terms of a gimmick.
In terms of the gimmick matches, when it comes to more than two divas going at.
Yeah, did we have a women's?
Well, I'm sorry, women's.
Did we have a women's cage match? No,
I don't think so.
I was starting to think that maybe we would get something like that at Extreme Rules, and we didn't. But
we've had like lingerie, we have like bikini, we've had pillow fights.
It's been some time since we've had
like
those.
Naughty Santa. I mean, holiday gimmicks.
I'll tell you, I think it would be
that'd be great.
I absolutely agree with you. I think it would be a blast to have a women's Money in the Bank match.
Terrific.
Why not? I think it's time for that.
I'll be all for it because
who would you put in that match right now?
I mean, 6, right? We're going 6.
I think it's just 5 they're doing now.
Well, there's 5 there. Is there?
Yeah, I think it was just 5 from the matches last night.
Let's go 6 because there is so many divas.
Okay.
Obviously, Sasha, she can go. Becky, so there's 2.
Well, now keep in mind, you got to take somebody out because you're going to have a one-on-one match that night.
Okay, so you are going to have. So I would say, the way it's going now, who's fate? I mean, Natty's over. I'm going to say, who's going to be facing Charlotte now?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Someone told me something about what the next feud is going to be. Paige. I would say Paige is going to come back. So Paige is probably going to be Paige versus Charlotte.
Okay.
Okay, so that's what I'm predicting. So Paige is out.
All right.
So she's facing Charlotte that night. So you have Becky, Sasha. Okay, so there's 2. Throw Dana Brooke in there.
Sure.
Who else is on? Who else is up there?
Then you start to get into you got Natty. You have
she'll
Summer
be
Rae.
in there. I don't like her.
So this is where you kind of struggle. Then so Summer Rae. Is Eva Marie main roster or is she NXT?
I would keep her off.
Tamina.
Ugh.
Naomi. Cameron. Why do I always mix them up? Who didn't get cut? Naomi.
I think she's hurt.
Alicia Fox. Haven't seen her in a while.
No, not in a ladder match.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So this is where now you've got 3. You got to basically.
I feel like we're missing a few. And I'm sure people are gonna correct us, our loyal listeners. Let's see.
Which is okay because we're doing this in the heat of the moment here, trying to remember them off the top of our head.
Okay, so for sure, Becky Lynch. Obviously, her. Going through the roster right now.
Okay.
Dana Brooke for sure. Emma, she's hurt, but she would be involved. Maybe Eva Marie would be thrown in there. Let's see. Scrolling through. Lana? No, she's not a good wrestler. Maurice? No. Okay, Natty has to be in there.
You got to put Natty in there.
Okay, Naomi, she would be thrown in there. Why is Rosa Mendes still in the roster? And
I mean, Emma would be good
Summer
in there
Rae?
if she wasn't injured.
Yeah, that's it. Summer Rae.
Does Nikki Bella make her return?
No, we're going on people who are wrestling right now. So we got Becky, Sasha, Dana Brooke, and then we could throw in there Naomi and Summer Rae.
You could probably put Tamina in it to do some spots. You know what I mean? Like she'd be that presence that does a power bomb of somebody that's climbing the ladder.
I think you probably would have Naomi out of those two in it.
Yeah.
Summer Rae would be thrown in there as well. And then maybe
not as many women as we kind of thought, but again, that's why you got to keep Bayley down there because
if we're talking about the roster now and who can wrestle and who knows about Charlotte, if I'm looking at that right now and we are guessing the last three and contemplating Tamina, Naomi, Summer Rae, then this woman's Money in the Bank is not a good idea.
Correct.
Just keep it a triple threat or a four-way or something like that. Or
triple threat Money in the Bank would be kind of fun, but then what's the point because there's only so many anyway.
Yeah,
that are
that
legitimate
would be
champions. Yeah.
So maybe the
division isn't as strong yet.
If you maybe bring us an NXT girl, maybe if Bayley is thrown in there,
If you would have thrown, so an awesome women's Money in the Bank: Asuka, Bayley, Sasha, Becky, Dana Brooke. With who would be healthy right now?
Yeah,
I think that would be pretty awesome.
But
I would have thrown Emma in there.
Yeah, for sure.
She's injured.
Emma would be thrown. Emma being hurt. Now you're going to the depths of below average wrestlers like Summer Rae and Naomi.
Even if you could just found one fourth person to be great, just to throw in there would have been fine. And maybe that's where you take a Naomi or a Tamina.
Yeah,
and you could take a
Natty. We've got Natty.
Oh yeah, Natty would be.
I hate
she
Natty.
would be good in there.
I'm not a fan of this woman.
But having a Naomi in there would give you that spot of somebody where Tamina's where Tamina's going to come in to help her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That kind of heel story move there. So that would work. You could do 4.
I guess. If Emma was healthy, and who knows about Charlotte, she's not going to be able to compete for a while. So, but still, it's... Oh, God, anything involving Natty. I'm just glad this storyline's over.
Look, if Charlotte can't battle at Money in the Bank, then why not throw Paige in there?
Yeah, Paige, or have it for the title. 6-woman title.
Sure.
Put that, not Money in the Bank, because maybe you don't want a woman carrying around a briefcase. It kind of doesn't look very sexy.
Well, it could be a lady's briefcase.
That doesn't look sexy.
Satchel.
A pink briefcase.
Yeah, satchel.
No, it'd be terrible. I don't want
shoulder bag.
I wouldn't want Dana Brooke carrying around a briefcase, looking all fine.
Oversized Louis Vuitton shoulder bag.
Definitely not. Maybe a hipster, a hip. What do they call those?
Money in the.
A hipster
in the shoulder bag.
A little hip hugger, huggy hip. What do they call those things?
I don't know.
I don't know either. A hipster thing.
No
ladies
idea.
are fans of the show will let us know. Probably, I guess. I don't know. But still, Dana Brooke, kudos to her, and I'm looking forward to seeing what
they should suspend a fanny pack from there. It should be Money in the Fanny Pack.
Money in the fanny. That's not very womanly.
No, they should do that for the guys. I think it'd be hilarious.
For the guys. Well, I think the briefcase fits more. Speaking of the briefcase, we have had the almighty return of our Lord and Savior, Seth Rollins, CrossFit Jesus, back into the picture, recuperating from his injury. And it seems like yesterday we were sitting here depressed, sad about Seth Rollins being hurt, having to give up the championship, and throwing a monkey wrench into the WrestleMania plans, because if Seth was healthy, it would have made WrestleMania a lot better. But he's back. The transformation is almost complete. The blonde is almost gone. Still a little bit left, and he's still a heel.
Yeah, what does that mean if the blonde's
There's
gone?
Something. I've had a chance to interview him twice. Once for the show, highest listened to show. This is Awesome Wrestling Show, episode number 8, I believe. Go back and listen to it. Seth Rollins interview. If I had a chance to interview him again, which I probably will, I would ask him, what is going on with the hair? There has to be some kind of meeting for him to slowly get rid of it, but it's just still hanging there. It's still there, and you know that he's still doing it on purpose. He's getting that done. There's something there, Steve, with the hair. I think like a past girlfriend before his fiance, before the racist before they dated these, the races. I think.
You mean the other fiance then?
No, one before that, I think, or something that was a wrestler, and she had the half blonde, half brunette. I think it was like a homage to her.
He just can't let go of her.
And but I think it's faded. Like maybe his heart is not fully healed, and it's still like lingering there.
Oh, we're going deep.
And once it gets over it, like the blonde will go away. It's nothing to do with being a heel or a face because he's had both for each of his characters.
Right.
So, but it's been dramatically reduced, and now it's just a lingering little spot.
Yeah, I don't know.
I would love to know.
Well,
that was one question I'd love to ask him.
All right.
Do you think it's like that? Do you think there's something deep going? There's a meaning to that, or you think of this being dumb?
I don't know. I think it was a character thing, but I don't understand. And now it's like he just kind of grew out of it, maybe.
Because if it's a transformation, what is he transferring?
I mean, look,
he's been champion. He's been a face with it, a heel. I mean, it's not like he went like from a face to a heel and got rid of it totally.
Right.
It's still been lingering.
I think it's just a part of the whole change. And here he is again, and now it's like it's the new Seth Rollins, but not new. Even his pants were a little different.
He has many kind of pants. He's like all white, all black.
Yeah, but all white was really only for like
pay-per-views.
Pay-per-views, yeah.
Special occasions.
Yeah, so this was a new set of pants.
Everybody has that. Miz has special occasion stuff.
He changed it up a little bit. New shirt, new T-shirt.
Yeah, new T-shirt looks great. Homage to the band 7 Seconds.
And no yellow on the T-shirt. So maybe that's part of it too.
No, because the T-shirt is one of his favorite bands is called 7 Seconds. If you look up the 7 Seconds logo, it's the same target, 7 in the middle, and it's just black and white. Now Seth Rollins' T-shirt is the black and white with the SR and the same kind of font with one of his favorite bands. So that's like the backstory with his T-shirt. So I like how they're incorporating, the favorites from the wrestler, because T-shirts there were getting pretty bad for a time there. They had pretty bad design T-shirts. That's a whole other different show. A whole different show that Mr. Summers can come on and
Justin Summers
bring all his T-shirts in and wear them at once. Going to be the guy with
a lot of T-shirts,
wearing 30 T-shirts.
That's like that episode of Friends when Joey says, "I'm gonna do the opposite of what you do," because Chandler's wearing his underwear. What are you gonna do? Show me my clothes?
Yeah.
And then he comes in, "Hey, I'm Chandler. Could I be wearing any more clothes?"
Not a big Friends guy, but
it's a fantastic, fun episode.
But that's a whole different show. But hey, Seth Rollins getting the title shot right off the bat, Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, okay, when AJ was facing Reigns, I had zero probability that Styles would win. We knew that Styles was not going to win the title.
Right.
Now with Rollins, this is a legit main event that I could see, hey, title can change hands here.
Yeah.
I would not be opposed to it. Seth Rollins is one of my favorite guys, and I wouldn't say he deserves it in a personal level, but he does have to make a point. We're playing kayfabe here. He did not lose the title.
Did not lose the title.
And he deserves his chance to get it back. I'm sure he'll be fighting for it. If he does not win at Money in the Bank all summer long, I'm just happy with Cena coming back. I never thought I would say this, but I'm happy to see Cena coming back because it's a breath of fresh air with all these little mid-carter guys.
And what's he going to do? Go right after Rusev? What do you think?
On
Memorial Day.
Yeah, maybe U.S. title again. I don't take it from Rusev. I don't. I mean, whatever Cena does is I'm going to be happy just because he's back and it's a new face. And then in 2 weeks I'll be sick of it again.
Yeah.
Can we just make Cena heel? Please just do it. It's not going to happen, but I would love.
No,
to
I don't think that's going to happen. I think we're well beyond that point.
Yeah. So then you have Orton probably coming back soon. Bray Wyatt, they find a storyline for him. Get healthy, come back soon. I mean, there's a lot of different things going on. And I will assume that some WWE releases will be happening. Some guys will be clearing out. I'm sure Ryback won't be sticking around very much longer. Fandango probably will be gone soon.
Kind of funny that we're ushering in the new era by bringing all these holdover guys back.
Well,
and that's what's going to, you had the moments of time where the new era was filled with excitement to now, okay, these guys are going to bring back the excitement.
We're almost at an hour. Kane is going to be running for mayor.
Good
probably.
for him.
Kane has always been a big political guy. I remember like 10 years ago when Kane had his own political podcast, and someone linked me to it. Is this Kane? And I listened to it, and I'm like, this is Kane. This is Glenn Jacobs talking political in my ears. And this is a guy that's mad. Well, I don't think he was unmasked by the time. This is a demon. This is the devil's favorite demon talking political with me. So he's always been big in politics. I think he's a libertarian. I think he is. He's not a big party guy. I think he run independent. And hey, if you're in the Knoxville, Tennessee area, you can vote for Kane. But also you can buy your insurance from Kane because him and his wife have an assurance company down there.
Right. It's been it for a while now.
And you can go on their Facebook page and watch Glenn Jacobs, a.k.a. WWE's Kane, talk insurance to you in video. It's very awkward and weird. And there's been plenty of people that have ran for political office. Jerry the King Lawler ran for mayor of Memphis, lost that. Rhino is going for a state rep job. He's pounding on doors now. You had Jesse the Body Ventura, throw his hat in the ring. So, I mean, it's happened before, but...
Didn't Christopher Nowitzki run for something at some point, I think, maybe?
I guess. Maybe. I don't know.
Of course, Linda.
Yeah, Linda Fail. A lot of money. Whew, probably Vince's third biggest money loss.
Yeah.
Behind WWE New York and XFL. Would you vote for Kane if you had a chance to? If Kane, Steve, if Kane was running in your town, all right, would you just vote for him on
just because he's Kane?
Because he's Kane.
I wouldn't. No, I would. I would like to hear what he has to say.
I would.
And if I couldn't stand who was currently there, if I was in one of those kind of towns, yes, absolutely.
You know what? I'm not a big. I know it's a right. It's a privilege to vote. I'm not really big into politics because I think all of them are crooks, and there's a few of them that aren't. But just stay away from it. Not my thing. But if a WWE guy was running for president, I would vote for that person no matter what they stood for. They can say we're going to put all immigrants in concentration camps. Maybe I won't vote for that, but
yeah, wow. Look at that.
I'm just saying. If a WWE wrestler was a legitimate political guy in my town or zone or ward or country, other than Donald Trump, they're getting my seal of approval.
Has your vote?
They have my vote.
All right.
If Kane was pounding on your door, Steve Guy, I'm Glenn Jacobs, running for the mayor of this town. Would like to have your vote?
Well, that would speak volumes to me if he was a man to do that.
If you did that, but then if you got the list of names, you didn't vote for him, he would come burn your house down, set you on fire.
Well, I think I would vote for him because I'd be very nervous that he would do that.
You just see some big guy in a red costume outside your house in the middle of the night looking at you.
Vote for me.
Putting his arms up and then puts his arms down. There's flames shooting everywhere. Vote for me.
Yeah.
That'd be great. Yeah, so Glenn Jacobs. And that could be the end of Kane. The wrestler could be coming to an end of an era, too.
Yeah.
WWE Hall of Famer, first ballot, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Kane.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I'll give him that. Absolutely.
Oh, of course. Championships, just the gimmick itself, long lingering. We've been a company, barely been hurt.
Yeah, that's true.
If he's off TV, it's just because storyline stuff. But yeah, Kane, WWE possibly going for mayor.
Who inducts him? The Undertaker or Pete Rose?
Oh, jeez, not Pete Rose. Pete Rose wouldn't come back. I would say probably Daniel Bryan, maybe too. Daniel Bryan,
his little buddy.
That bridge,
sure.
That bridge isn't burned yet. Maybe.
Would it be burned because it was Kane?
Oh, good point. Good little segue. All right, let's get into it. Let's get into our awesome finish.
All right, Glenn, I would tell you a little bit. My awesome finish this week is a personal one in my life. You ever see these apartment buildings, and they're big buildings, and there's a little dial pad. You go ahead, you push a number, and it goes to your friend's apartment, and then they get to buzz you in?
Yeah.
All right. In my apartment, they had that, but they added more key fobs to the doors, so the little dial system lets you into our main stairwell, but now you need your fob to then get in from the stairwell to the door. So I now, no matter what, even though I can buzz you in, need to go from my apartment on the 8th floor down to the main floor just to let you in.
Oh.
So my awesome finish, a huge F5 going to the genius that set up that system. He kind of did it right, but you missed by quite a bit there, pal. Way to waste everybody's time and get people excited. Big F5 to the architect of stupidity right there.
F5! F5! Here comes the pain! The F5 connects! The F5 connects!
All right, my Vader bomb goes to, from the Cleveland area, you probably echo my thoughts here, to Kevin Love, a man that played well in the first 2 games of the Eastern Conference Finals against the Toronto Raptors. And if you're not a big sports fan, I apologize, but Kevin Love gets a Vader bomb because in the past 2 games, in the Cavs' losses, especially Game 3, he has played awful. Not awesome, awful. So he gets this week's Vader bomb from the top rope.
Vader going up now, Samuel Vega must move! Straight on! A Vader bomb! For cover-up count! And a victory, and I might add a very impressive one.
All right, guys. Really appreciate you guys listening. Make sure to check out AIWrestling.com for AIW. They got 4 big events this weekend. You have 3 wrestling shows, and you have the Coca Cabana podcast, which I will be producing for Coca Cabana this weekend. So come on out, be a part of it. Steve will be announcing. I will be making my commentary debut. So if you buy the DVD, you can hear my commentary. This is my tryout, so to speak. Steve will be there, like I said. So if you come on out, AIWrestling.com. I've got a lot of big names coming in town, a lot of great matches. This is the J-Lit tournament in honor for JT Lightning. And we'll be talking about it, next week. But a lot of big names coming in. Billy Gunn, Hornswoggle's coming in town. Like I said, Coca Cabana is going to be here. Steve, who am I missing?
Dan Severn.
Dan Severn's going to be here.
Homicide from TNA previously. A good career there. Of course, Johnny Gargano will be participating. Big Damo coming over from Ireland, taking on Ray Rowe in that first round. Brian Myers, did you mention him? I'm trying to think who else. DJ Z. Guido is going to be there. Cliff Compton is going to be on commentary. The return of Josh Alexander, the walking weapon, the guy who thought his career was done and then got some another surgery and some doctor's opinions. And this is, I think, his second or third show back only into wrestling. So it'll be exciting to see him there. It's jam-packed.
It's going to be a great weekend, so AIWrestling.com. Tickets are very scarce because this we got 4 events they could possibly go to, and we'll be there all weekend as well. After party on Friday night, we'll get wild, so make sure to come out to AIW here in Cleveland. AI Wrestling is the website, AIWrestling.com, and look forward to seeing you guys out there. If you're there, stop by and say hi. I know a lot of people listen to the show. They just don't seem to be very social. They just walk past us and not even look at us.
I usually get some hellos
so do I,
after the show, cleaning up.
From our regular
will say something to me.
But people on some they'll listen and they're very not very social. A lot of wrestling fans aren't very very social.
Say hi to Glenn, guys.
Not me.
I'm in the ring, so they can't. You know what I mean? I just mean if they see you walking by,
stay away.
Say hello.
Actually, stay away. I don't like talking to people. Stay away from me. Don't say hi.
All right.
Give me a nod. I'll be fine, but don't come and talk to me. I just
give you the
what's
up, half nod.
I just want to be left alone.
Okay.
I have my own crew I want to talk to.
All right, don't say hi then.
Just give me a nod or shake my hand. Just download. It'll make me happy. If you subscribe to the show, leave a comment because we see that. Rate us. I see that as well. So if you do that, you know what? I'll talk to you. But if you talk to me saying you love the podcast, then I check the numbers, and you're not even downloading the show or subscribing, you know what? You get a Vader bomb from the top rope, all right?
I'd love to see somebody make a sign for us this weekend.
Hey, you know what? There's plenty of people holding signs.
I listen to TIAWS.
You know, TIAWS would be great. Hashtag TIAWS would be great. Boo Steve, if you're going to be there as well. Give him a boo. Tell him Glenn sent you.
Yeah.
We'll make it all
Or
right.
anything referencing our show.
Anything. From
Scott Steiner.
Pick up the phone, Scott Steiner. Or
I want to go to Shoney's.
Something. Anything you want to do for the show. You know what? We'll give you a shout out. And if we ever get T-shirts made,
Terry HH.
If we ever get T-shirts made that we talking about for our last year, we'll give you a T-shirt. How about that? So if you you know
nice.
what? Yeah. So if you do go to AIW, all right, we'll do this. If you're listening past the hour mark, kudos to you. Love you.
Yeah, we tricked you going with the awesome finish already.
So if you actually hold up a TIAWS sign, hashtag TIAWS, or any kind of reference to, well, let's just make it TIAWS because Terry HH is not, people are not going to know, oh, what is Terry HH? If you hold up a TIAWS, all right, or anything referencing me or Steve with my name or Steve's name, you know what? When we get T-shirts made, and we will get T-shirts made, we'll give you a free T-shirt. How about that? Now,
it's a good deal.
Hopefully 100 people don't catch on and don't. I mean, we love the signage, but we can't be giving out 100 T-shirts.
John Thornton would be angry at us.
I mean, we were promoting the show.
Yeah.
We give him free promotion, no charge to him.
I would also like to see a hashtag Get John Thorne Famous sign.
That's too big.
That's true.
Let's keep it for our show.
Okay.
Let's do it for ourselves.
That's our show reference.
John is already booking the show. Let's not give him a big head now. All right. So if you do give us a hat, if you reference me, Steve, or the show, hashtag TIAWS, you will be getting a T-shirt once we get them made, whenever that is. So there you go. And that's your little tidbit for listening past the 105 mark of the show.
You did it.
This is AwesomeWrestlingShow.com, iTunes, Stitcher, Libsyn, anywhere you want to listen to your podcast, we are there. Really appreciate you guys listening for so long, listening to our ramblings each and every week. And we'll be back next week with interviews because we're interviewing a bunch of people this weekend. And we'll be talking some wrestling as well. And if we do get something juicy over the weekend, we'll be posting something. So you guys subscribe to us so you get updates every time we post a show. This is AwesomeWrestlingShow.com. News, tidbits, rumors, anything you want to know wrestling, big story-wise, we post on the website. All those shows, interviews are there as well. Transcripts of our interviews as well. So this is AwesomeWrestlingShow.com. TIA Wrestling on Twitter, Instagram. We're also on Facebook. We're everywhere you need to be for This is Awesome Wrestling Show. We'll see you guys next week. See ya.